Welcome to the Business at the Speed of Sell podcast, where you learn how to accelerate the growth of your online and offline businesses, profits, and personal income. Tune in daily to get the tips, tricks, and tactics that have generated over $100 million in online and offline sales. Now, here's your host, Anthony Flack.
This is Anthony Flatt, and you're listening to the Business at the Speed of Sell podcast. Today, I want to talk about picking your niche. Now, a lot of people talk about niche marketing and finding your niche and finding your passion. And I think having a product or products that target a particular niche is extremely valuable. You know, you've got some talent, you've got some capabilities, you've got some interests in a particular area, and you want to know, can I make a business teaching people how to do whatever it is I do in that area or what my knowledge is. And some of the strangest sounding niches have been some of the best niches. Things like teaching your parrot to talk and how to tie hair bows, teaching people how to obviously lose weight and get that six-pack abs and all those. Those have all been very good niches. And here's how you define if what your interest is would make a good niche. A couple things. One, is there a community? Is there a congregation? Is there a group of people who are very passionate about that as well? And you can find out if there's a group of people out there by looking on the internet, seeing if there are forums and other websites that talk about whatever your niche interest is. Go to the bookstores if they have magazines and commercial books written on those particular subjects. You can obviously do Google searches to see what the hits on the particular keywords are. But you need to find something that you're passionate about, but you need to most importantly find that there's a community of people that are also passionate about that. My first product was how to start a wrestling club, and it was targeting the youth wrestling niche. And I wasn't super successful initially in that niche. And I sold some products, and I created a great product, and I created a second product behind that, and a third and a fourth. But what I found is, yes, there is a community for that. There are raving wrestling fans. We're talking about youth wrestling. We're not talking about the pro wrestling stuff, but we do crossover. I know a lot of pro wrestlers, but we're talking about people that are youth wrestlers, elementary school, middle school, high school. And what I found, unfortunately, was one key element was missing from that group. And that was really the disposable income to invest in education on how to get better at wrestling and starting a wrestling club, running a wrestling tournament. And I think that's because youth wrestling is largely a blue collar sport, meaning there's a lot of people who work in blue collar jobs, and they don't necessarily have the disposable income that I would want them to have or need them to have to be able to buy products on how to do these things. They'll go out on the internet, they'll do Google searches or look on YouTube and see what they can find for free. But they're not that interested in investing in educational material to teach them how to do whatever it is in that particular niche. Now, out of that frustration, I came back to something that I didn't think was going to be a good niche for me, because it's a wide open niche. It's the business niche. And I don't even know that you can call the business market a niche, because there's so many people in it. But I was successful in doing that for two reasons. One, by default, it's the thing I know the most about. It's the thing I've been the most successful at. So I have a lot of experience in starting and running and growing new businesses. I have a lot of experience in bringing new products to market, both nationally and internationally. I've brought products to market for companies, for Japanese companies, for Korean companies, for companies out of the UK, here in the US. It's just kind of all over the place. And that experience, which I kind of devalued initially, I was out trying to figure out what it is I know. Can I do the gardening niche? Can I do the internet trading, stock trading niche? Or these other places? And they're not necessarily places that I have an extreme amount of interest or extreme amount of knowledge. But the business niche was, and that was good for me. But a lot of people have been successful in other niches, and everybody's kind of looking for the secret niche, the one that nobody is targeting. Be careful with that. If nobody is targeting a particular niche at all, there may be a reason for that. And I think that's kind of what happened with me on the wrestling niche. Now, there's a few guys out there that are selling wrestling products to the wrestling niche, and I study those guys to see, what they're selling and how they're selling it and how they're successful. And I'll probably come back and create some more products. I'm still very involved in youth wrestling on a volunteer side. And I do create a lot of products for youth wrestling, but I give them away. I give them to our state association, which I'm the chairman of. I also give it to the national organization, and I just give that freely because that's something I'm very passionate about, and I enjoy doing that. But I'll probably come back and create some more products in that space. But right now, the marketing niche, the business niche, the internet marketing niche, helping people take their business to the next level, helping people understand how to sell product, how to build product, and how to get it out there is something I'm very passionate about and I'm very good at. So that's what I'm focused on. So if your niche is not successful initially, go back and relook at what your skills and capabilities are and see if maybe what your day job is or what your education is. Maybe that's the niche that you need to be in. The business niche works for me because there's a huge amount of interest in it. It's highly competitive. There's lots of people selling lots of products in the business niche. But if you think about it, if there's this huge stream of water, this huge rolling river of water, how much of it do I need to peel off to be successful versus a niche that may just be this tiny little babbling brook of water, right? So if there's a big enough of an interest stream, you can carve out your piece of it and be very successful. So hopefully you can take away from this, find your niche, find the one that's got a raving community, specifically of people that will spend money, that have disposable income. And if not, if you find a niche that has got a lot of competition, find your piece of that business niche, that internet marketing niche, whatever that highly competitive niche is, and get your piece of it. Either way, you're going to be successful. You're probably going to end up doing both anyway at some point in time. But that would be my suggestion for finding your niche.
If you have a question for Anthony, then head over to www.anthonyflatt.com and leave him a voicemail message for a chance to have your question featured on the show. Thanks for listening to the Business at the Speed of Sell podcast at www.businessatthespeedofsell.com.